How's it going, crypto community? This is Jade Martian, and I am going to choose my words very carefully while I create this video, as I do not want to persecute anybody in the XRP community. That said, there is a trend that I have become a part of that many of us have become a part of, actually, in regards to Comex 589, and it's unfortunately, despite what I think many of us would really like to believe, not exactly what many people have been leading those in our community to believe, right? So here's what's going on. We have been led to crypto facilities as the source of information regarding Comex Rule 589 meeting that's apparently taking place, right? Now, what crypto facilities is doing actively right now, actually, is creating a CF settlement. And what that is it's a futures contract settlement. So it's a shorts market, right? Well, I mean, not shorts. You can take shorts or longs. It's not just shorts. It's both. But that's what most people think of it as is shorts when you think of a futures market. So there is good news out of this for the XRP community, and we'll get into that, actually. And that's why I said it's breaking news, and it's actually big news. And since there is a potential for longs through this, and this is a platform for institutional grade adopters, institutional grade custody. That's what I'm going after here. I'm sorry. I just wanted to find the right word. Custody of the service, right? Via this futures. So the cool thing here is that there's some really good juicy details that's really good for Litecoin, Ripple, and they call it Ripple. Unfortunately, we all know it's XRP, but they call it Ripple. And Bitcoin Cash. But then some really bizarre turn of events in regards to Bitcoin, right? So we'll get into that. So most of this document is really just breaking down the just what I basically just explained to you right here. This is the overview of the fact that this is the CF settlements prices have been created to facilitate settlements of futures contracts. The methodology has been specifically designed to ensure that it is fit for this purpose. No further applications of the CF settlement price have been taken into consideration in its design, and each settlement price represents a transparent indicator of the price of an underlying cryptocurrency pair at the point in time stated in the specifications in Section 7, right? Now, what Section 7 basically explains is that this platform is performing futures contracts on a daily basis, right? So they go through a calculated day, and that determines the price range that they'll project, and then people bet on that. You are betting because you put up to 50 times leverage on these things. The breadcrumbs. He has great advice for anybody that wants to play around in futures that doesn't understand how to do just basic trading alone. The quickest way to lose your ass is to go putting your money in the futures, not knowing what you're doing. Right? You'll be done instantly. It's not fun. Don't do it. Don't do that to yourself. At least not if you don't know what you're doing. Right? I'm not a financial advisor. I don't say that at all enough. I probably should, especially since I'm informing you about a business, and sharing with you technical analysis. But that's something that you should definitely keep in mind, is that I am not a professional financial advisor or anything like that, right? But I do have a relatively decent gift for understanding a lot of complex material, and this outside of some of the mathematics in this made my head spin, but most of it's pretty understandable. It's not anything too complicated that I can't at least break down for you in simplistic terms, right? So I went down this rabbit hole because a fair few people in my community have been asking me to, and that's why I'm being really careful with my words, because I don't want you to think that I'm coming at this other YouTuber that you all appreciate, and you know, I can see that she seems to be like trying to understand this stuff too. Like, she's not. I don't feel that that individual is intentionally trying to harm the community, right? I don't know, but I would assume they don't seem malicious. But I'm really kind of bad at judging other people's characters. That's a character flaw in me, right? I just want to see the best in everybody. But anyways, back on to this here. You know, I just want to help protect the people that listen to me from the hype that is still circulating, and that this false hope, right? Like, listen, you don't need to have false hope in some crazy price, right? There's some good stuff coming, and if you're patient, if you practice patience, and you continue to believe in this market, and you put your money here, and if you're interested in other cryptocurrencies, like I am an expert when it comes to what's going on with this one, right? So I can do coverage of other ones, but my knowledge of them is a lot more limited. Like, I can do coverage on Bitcoin, but I don't want to do coverage on Bitcoin because I don't believe in it as a product anymore, right? I once did, but I can no longer promote it personally because I don't have faith in its long-term future compared to other projects in the space. And there are many projects in the space that I am very bullish on outside of XRP. And I know this is getting a little bit off topic, but I want my viewers to understand that this is not an attack against you or your beliefs. This is simply me wanting you to come at this very rationally, and just to keep in mind the potential that what you have been believing is not true, and that's okay, because even though it's not, at least there's a very good potential that this is not true. Your asset has a bright future nonetheless, right? So let's jump into why it has a bright future, right? Because, again, I'm saying this has nothing to do with Comex Rule 589. There's no price adjustment coming, right? Not from this. The price adjustments that you're hearing about are price adjustments on this platform that's being used, right? So what's really interesting about this, though, is after you get through all the technical jargon of how the system works, which, again, simply the way that this is it trades on the daily volume, the daily price action, and it allows people to bet on the daily ranges, right? So after 24 hours, the futures contract is closed, and they go on to another one, right? And so that's the simplest way to explain it. Hopefully that's understandable. I'm assuming it will be. It's pretty, basic, 50 words or less kind of thing. But so what I want to show you, though, is this, and this is why it's really exciting. Section 6 here, settlement price parameters, right? This is the section that's telling you the pairs that will be traded in futures, right? So what do we got here? Litecoin against the dollar, Ripple against the dollar, Bitcoin Cash against the dollar, and then Ripple against Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin against the dollar. Not Bitcoin against Litecoin. Right? That would even make more sense. Ripple against Bitcoin. Why are these their 4 choices? Right? What's going on behind the scenes that they decided to tether, essentially, the 3rd largest digital asset to the 1st, and the only way for you to get to it from fiat is through Ripple, through XRP. That almost makes you think, don't it? See, I can't say what will happen with the price when this whole system does go live, but I can say that it's a futures market, and we're still in rather bullish territory, so it might be ugly. But that said, I think it's gonna be ugly for one in particular, and another, it's gonna sit flat. I think that even if it is shorted, because XRP is going to be used to short Bitcoin, it's gonna devour Bitcoin. It's gonna devour its value. That's what this system, just in this simple display, this is all you need to see, really. If you understand what I've explained to you in the background, that these are futures that are trying to short one another, right? And so who's shorting? They're going to try and short Ripple or the dollar in a global market that's melting down, and with the dollar now losing strength. What? Are you kidding? No, they're going to short the dollar against Ripple. And you know what else is going to happen? They're going to short Bitcoin against Ripple, because Ripple is about to have this major partnership, and there's literally nothing happening with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin will be on SBIVC, but it's not the focus of SBI. It's not the attention. It's not the hype thing on SBI for SBIVC. Most people don't. Most people in these institutions don't, like, they know Bitcoin, but they also know XRP, because they know SBI is a big bull. They're going to SBI, and SBI is very outwardly vocal about their support for Ripple over any other digital asset, right? So obvious, anybody that's going to SBIVC for consultation advice for which of these digital assets they're going to invest into, SBI is obviously going to suggest to them that, well, while Bitcoin is a fantastic store of value, Ripple is fundamentally revolutionizing the way business is conducted around the world through their rapidly faster and cheaper payments liquidity solution known as XRP. And the asset is actually at a 90% discount right now, as compared to Bitcoin, that is at about a 60% discount from its previous all-time high. The choice is yours. Which do you want to invest in, ladies and gentlemen? Right? The coin that's associated with all the drug dealers and coke addict, the drug dealers and drug and cartels and pedophiles and whatever else you imagine bad about the world. Everybody associates it with Bitcoin, right? No, they're not. They're gonna get a little bit. They're gonna probably all have like one or two saying like, "Hey, check out my Bitcoin," because we're rich and we can own a Bitcoin, whatever. But like the real money, they're gonna have a lot more XRP. Let's just be honest about that, right? And this is evidence to me about that. I know I've presented a lot of opinion, obviously, in regards to how the wealthy and affluent will invest, but at the same time, one of my favorite things to do outside of studying cryptocurrencies is listening, but not just listening, watching how wealthy people talk and how they present themselves and the things that they believe and what they do, right? I'm always curious when I hear what a wealthy person does, how they act, because it's very apparent to me that most wealthy people act very, very different than the average person, and there's reasons to that. many of those that I could go into countless videos on, but the easiest way for me to explain it to you is if I don't care if you like Jordan Peterson's political outlooks, but as a behavioral psychologist, who is an expert in personality, the man understands his stuff, right? And so you should listen very seriously to anything that he has to say if you are curious as to how that rolls in, right? So, at any rate, though, this is it might be disappointing to you that there's nothing at all about Comex or 589 or anything in regards to crypto facilities, but the beauty is that we're still seeing something that could be greatly beneficial to XRP simply due to the fact that it could be used by these institutional size shorters to really try and drive the price of Bitcoin down even further while moving that liquidity into XRP, right? So that's just my obvious opinion on how that whole ecosystem will play out, and there is a very strong possibility that a lot of the assumptions that I've made will be false to some degree or another. I'm sure there will be plenty of Bitcoin experts out there or Bitcoin fanatics in the multi-million and billion-dollar space who are throwing money into these futures contracts, who will be Puritans for Bitcoin or Puritans for Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash. They wouldn't be listing them if these projects weren't at least somewhat legitimate or at least useful stores of value, right? So at the end of the day, I think all these will, all four of the currencies listed here will obviously do great in the next few years. But you just gotta be patient and wait for these trends, these larger macro trends to play out, right? You're early in a bull market, right? So don't expect anything spectacular. I mean, realize that the changes in prices that you've seen, if you start to learn how to trade a bull market now, and you start to learn how to identify patterns, and I'll probably make a series myself in the near future where I break down specific things for you if you are interested in that. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can at least make videos about basic technical indicators and how to make sure that you are utilizing them appropriately and how to determine what those things are trying to tell you, right? But until then, this has already become a pretty long video, and it's mainly because I wanted to make sure that you all understand that I'm here to see XRP flourish in the future, but to do that, we have to stop with the conspiracies, right? The conspiracies are detrimental to our community. They make us look like a joke to the greater cryptocurrency ecosystem, and to be honest, I feel that there are likely people out there who do know that this is all not at all true, right? And I'm sure that among those people are individuals who are doing this in the hopes that they can see the price driven down because people who are new to this space are easy to buy into untrue things, right? Things that aren't true in this space because they don't know yet. And so that's really why I'm here I want to protect the newest investors in XRP in this ecosystem. And so if you really want to have like just a level approach to this space, but still have hype, come here and we'll have fun. I'll pump things up, but then I'll bring it back down to earth, and then I'll try and explain to you why, even though we're back on earth here for a little while, you're all eventually going to come up here and hang out with me. And that's because you've been listening to Jade Martian. And my goal is to get all of you Earthlings to become members of Mars to become Martians as well, right? So with any luck, within a few years, hopefully, I'll be seeing all of you all the way up here on Mars.